Hello everyone. I think the last video we left you at, I think it was Midsummer Meadows.
Yeah, no murders.
No murders there yet, no.
Yeah,
no, not like the series.
Yeah, just on the outside of Northampton.
Yeah.
So we're continuing on down the River Nene or Nene. So what do you think? I'm a Nene person.
Yeah, I'm a Nene person.
Now the River Nene, I think it's about 100 miles long, isn't it? 140 kilometres, 160 kilometres, sorry. 80 miles or 140 kilometres is navigable. Yeah. Is that navigable?
Yeah,
Navigable.
Navigable.
I always put a "t" in the middle. And I think our journey down it is going to be about 67 miles and 37 locks. I should work it out properly. Forgot where I was going with this.
Yeah.
That's not unusual. Yeah, so I've been told that the cut-off point for the Nene and the Nene is round about Thrapston. So Thrapston all the way out to the Wash will be Nene, and hence I'm from Kings Lynn in Norfolk, right near the mouth of the Wash, so I'm a Nene boy. And then from Thrapston all the way to Northampton, it's Nen. But I would still argue the fact when I went to school, we had a thing called a magic E. So if it went on the end of a word and there was an
E in between,
an E or an E or an A, that magic E would make the E sound E.
Yeah.
So
Nene.
Yeah, so Nen was ne. Nen. Yeah, put the magic E on the end. Nene. Anyway, schooling has obviously changed since then, but that's my excuse and I'm going to stick to it. If somebody's got a genuine reason why you could call it Nen when it's got a magic E on the end, and why the E would still be an E, then leave it in the comments below.
Cool, yeah, love to know. The one thing is about the Nene is moorings are few and far between, and we advise anybody to actually join the Friends of the River Nene. Their moorings are absolutely beautiful. Yeah, they're well looked after.
Yeah, I think it's about £12 a year to join.
Yeah,
and I think they've got probably 10.
Is it 10? Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah.
I haven't counted, but
10 or 11 moorings that they maintain throughout there. So.
There's no facilities there, but they are beautiful moorings.
You will see.
Yeah.
Well, first lock of the day, Rush Mills lock, and Deb's just reminded me. She just read the sign. Unlike the canals here on the River Nene or Nen, whichever you prefer, the sign says when leaving the lock, whether you're leaving the upper gates or the lower gates, you can leave the gate open. Just close the paddle, but you can leave the gate open. So no need to get on the lock landing and come back and shut the gate. Now in lock number 2, Abington lock, and again the gate was open, we just come straight through. So hopefully that's going to be like it on the rest of the locks we do today. There's a boat come past us last night at about 8 o'clock, so they've come up through the locks, left all the gates open in our favour. Over there. Oh, Deb's got pointy finger today.
There.
It's catching. What we was going to moor on last night. Yes, and apparently in times of flood, that floating pontoon goes to the top of those poles.
Which is scary, a scary thought.
Well, we just got to the Friends of the River Nene's moorings at Hardwater Mills, and absolutely beautiful, and got to use our new plank. A clever little bit of kit I've got for my iPhone is a polarising filter. So if I turn it, I should get rid of any glare, and water becomes very transparent. It's a warm one, 29 again today. Doddington Lock, a very short lock landing on this one. So what I've done, I've thrown Deb out of the pointy end and she can go set the lock. Yeah, no pups on the roof today. It's way too hot. There's no way of keeping them cool, so they're inside. All the windows and doors open, so we've got air flowing through, but they don't like it. No, they're frightened they're missing something. Right, we're at Ditchford Lock, and just have one of my little thought moments. The locks there, steel, heavy steel locks. They have a wooden face that probably needs replacing every 5 years, but the locks will last forever and they hardly leak. Now, as much as we all like the beautiful heritage of the canals, in this day and age when water's a precious commodity and the wooden lock gates need replacing every 20 years, is it about time the CRT looked at investing in lock gates, steel lock gates that don't leak?
Yeah, so where Mark said about leaving the gates open when we first started on the Nene, it is only for the first couple of locks that have V-gates at both ends. After that, you go on to guillotine.
You then come on to the guillotine ones. Now, we covered that. I'll put a link up here. I think we covered that in detail a couple of years ago when we came down the Nene. But basically, if you're going down through the locks, you'd enter through the V-gates. Yes. Deb's laughing because I've just waffled on for 5 minutes and said totally wrong how to do the guillotine locks. So if you're descending, you're going to go into a full lock through the V-gates. Bottom guillotine will be closed. You go into the lock, close the V-gates behind you, open the guillotine. That will let the water out. The guillotine will come all the way up. You'll exit the lock, and that is the state you leave it. Yeah. Now, if you was ascending, oh sorry, so that was descending. If you was ascending the locks, you'd come through the open guillotine into an empty lock. You would close the guillotine. You would then open the paddles on the V-gates. That would then fill the lock. You'd exit the lock through the V-gates. You then close the V-gates, go back to the guillotine, raise the guillotine to empty the lock, and that is the state you leave it.
Yeah.
So whether you're going downhill or uphill, the guillotine locks will always be left with the guillotine fully raised, the lock empty, and the upper V-gates closed.
Did you get that? Yeah, as you can see, Hardwater Mills, the mooring at Hardwater Mills, which is a Friends of the River Nene mooring, it's just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
So peaceful, so quiet.
I think we was there for the weekend. We had a wide beam boat come up with a couple of families on.
Yeah.
A big party. We didn't get an invite, which was quite disappointing because they sounded like they was having a whale of a time. And there was one other narrowboat there.
Yeah. And I mean, there was plenty of room for everybody. You know, no one sort of impeached on anybody's.
No.
You could play. We played some music by ourselves, and it was absolutely lovely, and the weather was wonderful as well.
That does always help.
Does always help. Yeah.
Do I? Right, hopefully there's not a weight limit on this. Everybody's looking. Oh, yes there is. I better get off before I get kicked off. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, so as I mentioned in the video, my little epiphany about the lock gates, they seal so well on the River Nene. I know they're a modern lock, steel gates. I'm just wondering whether it's time the CRT looked at maybe replacing some of the old the rotten gates, rather than replacing with wood, which need replacing every 20 to 25 years. Look at putting in these steel gates that don't leak. And I know it will be controversial because the canals, it's our heritage, and they were built like that. But with a lot of the modernisation of the canals, where they're restoring sections of the canals that haven't been cruised along, the technique they're using is totally modern techniques. They're lining the base of the canal with concrete blocks. They're putting membranes in rather than just digging a ditch and filling it full with puddle clay. So times change,
and with them being so commercialised now, it's a holiday thing, isn't it?
I've done a little bit.
They get very busy.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research here. Now the Canal and River Trust has 1,569 locks. So that means with a pair of gates either end, they've got 3,138 pairs of gates, which is 6,276 gates. Now apparently they have 2 workshops that can repair and build new gates, and these can turn out 180 gates a year at a cost of about £2 million. So that works out at £11,111.11 per gate. Now, if you multiply that by the 6,276 gates that they've got, that's £69,733,333, and I'm not even going to mention the 33 pence. And every 20 to 25 years. Now, that just, to me, that doesn't make sense. I'd rather my money being spent on those steel gates that are going to last a lot longer, and I know there's going to be maintenance on those.
Yeah, there's definitely maintenance,
And
but
that-
the upkeep of them is going to be a lot better.
Now, that's just the cost of building the gates. That's 69 million every 20 years. That's not the cost of actually installing them, the cranes and all that goes into
and
them.
plus, they
So
do.
CRT, if you'd like to give us a ring, I'll run these figures by you.
They, I mean, at the end of the day, the CRT wait for the gates to be so decimated that the things that some locks are closed for weeks on end.
Yeah, and it is because, as I say, there's only 2 workshops in the country that can make them, and I suppose they're flat out 180 gates a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I personally think it's well worth investing in, even if you've done half of them.
Yeah, so in the comments below, what are your views on that? Stick with the old wooden, archaic, nice heritage, or let's just bring it up a little bit more modern.
The wooden gates are absolutely wonderful when they work.
Yeah.
When they don't leak.
But they don't last forever, do they?
No.
So that's this week's controversial question over with.
He does like to rock the boat. Oh.
What we're now going to try, Deborah?
We are going to try gin and tonics with pomegranate and mint.
Yeah, Lynn Moore, you've been pestering me for ages.
We're going to give it a try.
Yeah, and it eventually made the shopping list. So Lynn, one of our viewers and patrons from Australia, has been suggesting we do a nice gin and tonic with pomegranate seeds and mint. So we're now going to attempt it.
Yeah.
So, pomegranate, mint. That's not going to leave a lot of room for the gin.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, it looks very pretty. So here's to you, Lynn. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, so Ditchford moorings were lovely, absolutely wonderful. There's only room for maybe 2 boats. We was at one end, weren't we? And then another boat turned up the next day and was at the other. Because, I mean, they're only 48-hour moorings anyway. But it's plenty enough time to get you through the Nene, to Peterborough.
Just had dogs past, and I thought Alfie was going to abandon ship to make canine friends.
It's terrible. So Ditchford Lakes were lovely. They were only.
I've got to stop you there. I'm just going to check that I actually press record.
Really?
Phew. I have pressed record. Anyway, where was we, my dear?
I think for the 5th time. Ditchford Lakes. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the go on the little aerial runway there. There was a couple of bits there.
But that was lovely. That was nice there.
Yeah, we was going to stay for the full weekend, but we stayed one night, and the combine harvesters.
They were cutting the corn,
which is great.
They've got
but
to,
the wind was blowing our way, and the boat was just filling up with dust.
Yeah,
so.
and the boat outside was just covered like an inch thick in yellow.
Yeah, so
powder.
we cruised off, and this was about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cruised off, and it was only probably a half hour, 3/4 an hour cruise down to the moorings that you're not going to see until next week.
No.
And I can't even remember what they're called, but you'll find out next week.
So I think that's about it.
That is just a big thank you to our logo designer.
Yes.
Yeah, probably some of you, if you watched our spur of the moment live video that we done back in May, Yeah, and Deb's surprise birthday live. I happened to mention on there about we'd been looking for a logo design. Anyway, Kat Gibbons, or Katrina Gibbons, in New York, sent these wonderful designs in, and loads of other people sent designs in. I think Kat just nailed it.
Yes, she did
first off, so it was brilliant.
Yeah.
We've had the logo on our social media platforms for quite a while now,
but we finally
got round to doing some merch.
Yeah.
A few people have asked for mugs and bits and pieces, so after nearly 3 years.
Do you like my t-shirt?
Yeah,
love my t-shirt.
So we've got various designs, colour designs, all black and white, as you can see there. Big logo, small logo, or colour logo, and that. But I'm not going to go on about that. You should be able to find stuff in the description below. And I know if I only sell one mug, I know David, Narrowboat David, will buy it because he's been crazing for ages for a mug. So this is all for you. But most importantly, and I shall put it here, Katrina has her own little design studio, and the joy with the internet, you can be anywhere in the world.
You can.
And you can design stuff. You don't need to be in the same town or anything. And her on Instagram, you can find her at catcher_smile_studio, and you can email her at catchersmilestudio@gmail.com. Big thanks to you,
thank you, Katrina.
Yeah, she's given us all the copyright things. The only thing she did ask in way of any form of payment was when we passed through Stone, was to wave at her mother-in-law. Was it her mother-in-law?
Mother and father-in-law,
yeah. But I think as we passed through, I did message Katrina to say we was coming through, but we never got to see her in-laws. So
we never got to wave. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so if you're watching in-laws, this is a wave just for you. And I think to comply with YouTube's terms and conditions, we actually have to say that this contains a paid promotion. Although we haven't been paid for it, somebody has done work for us, so we've received it. So that's all covered there. Yeah,
and I think that's just the channel supporters.
Yeah, just big thank you to this week's new patrons,
Peter Stanley and John Ellison.
Yeah, thank you very much. Always appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So if you've enjoyed this little video,
press the like button.
Is it the like or the thumbs up? Yeah, the like button.
It's the like button.
Yeah, if you haven't already subscribed,
press the subscribe button.
If you want future notifications of any other videos we upload,
the bell icon.
And keep the comments coming.
Oh yes, love your comments.
Yeah, we always try to reply to them all. Some of them do slip through the net and we'll find them in a month's time. But
and we do apologise for that. It's very difficult.
We will see you same time, same place, on the same river.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week. Bye.
Bye.